What's up, everybody? Thanks so much for checking out the podcast. We're so glad that you've decided to listen to us today. This is one of our best episodes yet. And the unfortunate thing is that the audio was jacked up, and I am so sorry for that. I really hope that you'll continue to listen to it, even though the audio might be a little off. We did everything we could to filter it so that it didn't sound so boomy and roomy, but we unfortunately had tried different software, and it did not pick up our microphones the way that we had expected. So I do apologize for that, but I'm telling you, this is a lot of fun. This is a great conversation. We're talking about Quiet Place 1 and 2, and we dive into love languages. We dive into how we can show each other that we care. We dive into all sorts of things, and I don't want you to miss it. I thought about just trying to skip a week, but I felt like the conversation went so well, I couldn't just not post it. So appreciate your kindness and your graciousness as you go through this episode. But again, it's one of our best, and I didn't want you to miss out. So if you're new to the channel, thanks so much for checking it out. And this is The Movies That Make You. We have an Instagram account, which you can find all of our kind of the upcoming schedule and things that we share. All happens there. We also have our Letterboxd, which is where you can find all of our lists, the movies that make you laugh, the movies that make you cry, the movies that make you scream. All of our lists are up on our Letterboxd, and I actually just went through recently and edited all of our lists to make sure that they're all apply to kind of our channel mantra, which is movies that make you. And also, if you're new to the channel, just a little heads up on what this channel represents. It's usually me and my sons. We're talking about movies, but not just for the entertainment's sake, but we're talking about what we can learn from it, talk about what we can gain from it, how we can live our lives based on how these movies are telling us. So we hope that you'll check this out. Hope you'll stick around, and we hope you'll give us a like, give us a follow, keep following us. We drop episodes every single week. We just are excited. I've got the whole rest of the year planned out, and we are just so pumped. So hope you stick around, and without further ado, let's go ahead and get to the episode. All right, we are back, and we are excited for another Movies That Make You podcast. My name is Sprang.
I'm Jacob, and I'm 13.
I'm Connor, I'm 14.
I'm Ezekiel, and I'm 10.
Colton, I'm 12.
He is 12 almost. In a couple weeks, he will be 12, and we're excited for that. What are you most excited about turning 12?
I get to stay up later, and I finally get to watch Naruto Shippuden.
Oh, nice. Who here has watched Naruto Shippuden?
Me.
What did you think of it?
It was good. Yeah, I liked it. I don't know.
Do you think it's something that other kids should watch?
I mean, there's some weird stuff in it, but other than that, I mean, it's a good show.
Cool. All right. We've got the summer is full on. We are about to talk about a movie that's got one coming out this Friday. Quiet Place Day 1 is coming out. So we're going to talk about Quiet Place 1 and 2. But before we do that, let's check in. How's the summer going, guys?
It's going good. We have wood now.
Wood floors,
We
yes.
have wood floors instead of like carpet, because we had carpet.
Yes, we got wood floors. And what else did we do earlier while we were getting wood floors?
We went on a cruise for 3 days and 5 nights.
4 days, 5 nights, yeah.
3 days and 5 nights.
So what was your favorite part about the cruise, Colton?
Free ice cream. I got like 20 cones of ice cream through the whole trip. And I really like the free stuff because everything was free because we already paid for it. Not really free, but they paid for it.
Yeah, we already paid for it.
So it's free for me.
Yep.
But and then I got a whole bunch of these alcoholic drinks without alcohol.
Yes.
And then
Virgin daiquiris. What was your favorite?
mango.
Mango.
And then we went to this place where it was like washi.
Oh, yeah. Every time we went through the dining hall, they were like, you need to wash your hands and all that stuff. And so they had washing stations in there. Connor, what was your favorite part about the cruise?
My favorite part about the cruise was this like island that we went on, and it was so cool. It was like one of those movies, like where they look like they're on a private island, like the Mr. Beast challenges, and it was so cool. The water was really clear, and then I decided there's this floating rock thing, and I said, "Hey, I'm gonna die." So I dove, and then I hit the ground, and my nose started bleeding.
My actual favorite part was not when we go on the island, but the trip to the island. We were on this boat, and it was like he would whirl his finger around, and you'd like
go, he'd go right, left, and then he took a hard right and then stopped and we'd go really quickly around.
Yeah.
And the hardest part was, or not hard for us, but it was like scary. He was like doing this and I didn't know what that means. And then he went really quickly
He
and
was
then,
putting his hand and saying he's going to dive. Yeah.
and then he dived and then the water went everywhere and we had to wait. And then we started racing the other boats.
Yeah.
They did a twirl, so we won.
Cool. Jacob, what about you? What's your favorite part about the cruise?
I think I really liked the boat thing that Colts has talked about. But on the cruise, I really liked the food. It was really good.
Yeah, we got to order whatever we wanted off the menu and eat multiple things. What about you, Zeke? What was your favorite part about the cruise?
Learning to play pool. It was a fun experience. Jacob played it as well, and Dad taught us how to play 3-player mode. Connor?
When was there pool? I would have played pool.
Yeah, it was just in one of those spots, and it was between you and the sand room.
Oh,
Yeah.
I wanted to do that. I like pool.
Cool. Well, other than that, what else do we got going on this summer? Jacob, what do you got going on?
I have a lot of basketball stuff. And I had one basketball camp already, and then I'm in the middle of another one. So, and then also band camp. And then I got church camp coming up, so I'm excited for that.
Yeah, so the first 4 weeks of summer you don't have off, and then you have 1 week off from anything, and then you got another camp. So lots of activity for Jacob. Zeke, what's been your favorite part about the summer besides the cruise?
Definitely the schedule. It's made things a lot more, let's say, interesting.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so we do a schedule during the summer, so we're not just on devices 24/7. And it's going a little better this week, guys. I gotta tell you, thank you for following the schedule. It makes it easier, and it's a must because your mom and I work from home, and so we gotta have some order and structure. And you guys did so good this week that you don't have to do the schedule tomorrow.
Yes!
Yay!
I really wanted to ask, but I was like, if I ask, they're not going to give us a free.
Nice, cool. Well, awesome. All right, so let's jump into the movies. Go.
So this couple of weeks for basketball have been so sad. The finals started and the Mavericks are being cooked like 3-0 in games. And then Bill Walton died and Jerry West died. So that's good for me because I got a lot of free cards in the game, but not good for everybody else.
Yeah, it's rough. It's rough. Very good players. Did a lot of stuff for the league, for the game, and for their communities and all that stuff. I mean, Jerry West has been GM at Lakers forever. So, I mean, he's helped the Lakers after he was a player. He's helped them be amazing. Cool. So we're going to jump into the movie, but before we jump into The Quiet Place, what's a movie that's coming out this summer that you are excited to see? Connor, what about you?
Inside Out 2? I already do that.
Inside Out 2, we did that podcast that dropped a couple weeks ago. Colton, what about you?
Inside Out 2 and Quiet Place.
Nice. Jacob, what about you?
Inside Out 2.
And Jake, what about you?
Definitely Despicable Me 4.
Yes, that episode drops next week. Little teaser there for you. What else? Anything else?
Definitely A Quiet Place and Sonic 3.
Yeah, Sonic comes out in December, so that's going to be fun. If I were to say another movie I'm excited about for this summer, I don't think Quiet Place, and me as an adult, I'm excited for Wolverine and Deadpool. That's just going to be crazy. But listen, you guys can't watch it until you're older because it's so crazy nuts. But that's not it. It's not just when you're older. You have to watch all the X-Men movies and everything Marvel because it's referencing literally everything. Because since Marvel bought Fox, or Disney bought Fox, they have all the rights to all those movies, all those stories. And so they're definitely playing on that. And he's even got the 20th Century Fox logo, destroyed in the background during one of their fights. So, I mean, it's like they're going to be referencing everything. So.
But what if I'm like 99 and I'm about to die, but I haven't seen all the rest of the movies? Can I watch it? No.
That's going to be your decision. You'll just be completely lost.
Bro, can't even you wouldn't be able to remember any of the movies anyways, because you're 99.
Yeah. So that's one of the movies I'm looking forward to. Chris and I did just see Furiosa. It was pretty good. It did not do well in the theaters, and it was out of the theaters. Like it's dwindled out of the top 10 already in like week 2. So unfortunately didn't do well, but Bad Boys Ride or Die did great. 100 million worldwide opening weekend. That's the 5th highest grossing opening weekend of the year. So kudos to that. That was another episode we had a few weeks ago. So if keeping score, we're doing all right. All right, so let's jump into The Quiet Place. First off, before we jump into the premise and the summary, let's talk about overall thoughts about The Quiet Place series, like both movies together. Go ahead, Colton.
It was a pretty quiet movie.
Very good. Connor, what about you?
I liked it, but there were some parts that like really scared me.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Jake, what about you?
I really liked the score of it, from a musical standpoint. I thought it was really well put together.
Nice. Zeke, what about you?
Face the guy made, it was really funny. He was like, shh.
Yeah, literally every time John Krasinski puts his finger over his mouth to be quiet, it's like super intense of like he's covering up half his face.
This movie is not the type of movie that would scare me. Like, it's tense stuff, but the scariest part for me is when they step on the needle.
Oh yeah, that's crazy. And I think you said, Colton, that your favorite part about the movie was the end of the first one when they're like figure it out.
It was cool, but it was like so hyped up, and then the second didn't really play it on that.
Cool. Well, let's go ahead and jump into the first. We're going to kind of walk through kind of the main premise. We're going to talk about what the main idea of the film is. So Zeke, why don't you give it a shot?
So basically, the whole world has to be quiet, and it's day 47 of being quiet. So there's one family who has a little deaf girl, and there is a small boy in the family, and the little deaf girl caught an airplane that the kid dropped. The dad was like, so he took out the batteries and he put them on the counter, and everyone was like, everyone was going out to a place, and the little boy grabs the batteries, they head out, and he turns on the airplane, and the quiet monster comes out and kills him. The mom is pregnant, and so they were playing a board game, and then there was a fire. Everyone was super scared that the monster would come.
Yeah, and so they're basically the movies following that story and that family, trying to avoid making sound for the monsters, and that's just kind of how it goes. There's points in the movie where the mom being pregnant, she ends up stepping on a nail, like Colton mentioned, trying to avoid the monsters. She had to make a lot of noise, try to avoid all the noise, and then she was having a kid, and there's a lot of tension between the daughter and the son of the dad, and all that stuff. So what else? What's another key point in the movie that we haven't talked about? Yeah.
So then there was like monsters chasing these guys, or the gals and guys, and they went to that cornfield because they're scared. Or it's not a cornfield; it's a big water tank, and with corn in it. And then they go in there, but then the monster's trying to get them. Oh no! They get on this raft so they don't suffocate and fall through the void. But the monster gets in, and then she used her ear thing, and the monster got really scared because it was really loud, high pitched.
So that they figure out at that point that her hearing aids, when the monsters get close to her hearing aids, they balloon, the vibration and the high pitched squeal is too much for the monster to take, and so that ends up being the weakness.
Well, she didn't know that yet, so they didn't find out until closer to the climax. But yeah, that does happen. It gets high frequencies.
What was the point when the son and the dad went away? What was the main thing that they learned on that trip?
They go to a waterfall, and the dad is talking, and the son's like, "No, don't say anything. Don't be quiet. Be quiet." And the dad is saying it's okay because the waterfall is making a big old noise, and so it cancels out any other smaller noises because the big noise is always there. And so he starts screaming, and then the son is still like, no, don't do that. And then he's saying it's okay, and if you look around, there's no monsters coming for him. And so the little boy starts talking, and then they'll start yelling together.
Yeah. So that was a couple of key moments in the film. Connor, do you remember what happened on their trip? What was the main thing that happened on the trip between the son and the dad?
Okay, so they're walking and they saw a guy, and his wife was dead, and then he like yelled really loud, and then the guy took a kid and ran under a tree, and then a monster hit the guy, and then the monster the monster walked right by them and then ran away.
Yeah.
And then they went back home, and then the mom was like pregnant.
Yeah, for sure. So there's this key tension in the film. So like the opening scene, as Zeke mentioned, is the main gist is that the son, little kid, turns on the toy, and it makes a loud sound and he dies. So for the rest of the movie, what does the daughter think about her dad's feelings towards her?
She thinks that he doesn't love her because she, kind of killed the son, but that's not really what happened. She blames herself for the kid dying.
Yeah, so she blames herself, but she also feels like she's like her dad blames her. So the whole movie, there's this tension. But what do we find out at the end? She wasn't allowed to go downstairs because his dad was working on stuff down there. What did she find out that he was working on?
He was working on hearing aids so she can hear. That was so Sigma. And he actually prepared like a whole U.S. military with those because they kill the monsters really easily.
Yeah, so he had this whole stockpile. Every time that they found electronics, he was trying to find hearing aids. He was trying to make it so that she could hear. She got frustrated every time, all this stuff. She wanted to go on the trip that the son went on, but he didn't let her. So there's all this tension. She thinks that he doesn't like her and he's mad at her, but the whole time he loves her, right? So what could the dad have done? Because she didn't find out that he loved her with the hearing aids until the end of the movie. The movie's over basically and he died. So what could have happened? What could the dad have done to make sure that she knew that he loved her?
You could have said that, or you could have showed her the basement.
What else, Connor?
You could have spent more time with her.
Jacob, what do you think in the movie? What could he have done to? What did the son say? I mean, the son said something.
What he did?
Oh, he said, the son said, you should tell her that you love her.
So it's kind of like even saying it would have helped. But the dad is super serious, and I can kind of understand, he's so much stress just trying to survive and trying to keep everybody safe. And I think he didn't want to get him downstairs because he didn't want to mess up everything. But at the same time, it's tough. It's tough as a parent to know how to handle everything that you're trying to handle in life, and then also you have to share. You have to make sure that people know that you love them.
You have to take care of them, and just by being their parent is showing that you love them.
Yeah, well, and doing things for them. So the issue, the thing that comes out is, in certain people, they have different ways of showing love. So let's kind of take it outside of the movie, and let's talk about you guys. So Zeke, what is something that a parent could do to make sure that you know that you're loved?
You guys could hug me.
Okay, so physical touch. Okay, Jacob, what about you? What's something that a parent could do to make sure that you know that you're loved?
Quality time.
What does that mean to you? What would be an example?
Spending time. Well, yeah, spending time together, talking, going to see a movie or whatever. I think that really helps me.
Nice. What about you?
Gift giving.
What kind of gifts do you like?
All the gifts, if I can use it.
All the things.
Unless it's a book.
Yeah, if you can use a book,
Ooh.
you got a whole stack of books you got in the library. So
Books don't count.
yeah, they count.
Unless it's brown bear.
They count. Connor, what about you?
Starbucks. Whenever you give me a Starbucks.
Oh yeah. What about your mom? What can she do to make sure that you know that she loves you?
Spend more time. I was gonna say playing Fortnite, but she doesn't play Fortnite.
But quality time, doing something together.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I know you guys might not even know this, but that's actually we hit on 4 of the 5 love languages. So mine is definitely physical touch, but I like physical touch as a receipt of love, but I also secondarily like to give gifts to show that I love. So when I go to Starbucks and I get you all drinks and I give them to you, it's like me telling you that I love you, right? So what's a way that you show us that you love us as your parents and your dad and Heather? Like, how do you show your parents that you love them? Since you don't have money to buy gifts.
Ooh.
No, it's not a knock. But I think gift giving is definitely your love language, because when I think about like the fact that, like the other day, what happened when you went to you took money to the community center? What did you do with the money? You went with Orhan and his brother.
Oh yeah.
What happened?
And then I got them stuff because they paid for me.
Yeah, they let you come as a guest pass, and so you gave them something of yours, or you paid for their thing because that's your way of showing them. Zeke, what about you? How do you show your parents that you love them?
Physical touch and acts of service.
Oh yeah. What kind of acts of service do you do to make sure that we know you care?
I usually say that I love you, and I also give mom massages.
Okay, nice. What about acts of service? Because those aren't acts of service, those are touch and words of affirmation, which nobody said, but words of affirmation is the fifth one that we didn't touch on. So, cool. Any other thoughts on the first movie? I think that was the main tension. One thing I really liked about the film was that it just follows this one family. It gives us a nice little microcosm of what's going on in the world. We can really dive into just seeing this one family interact. It doesn't branch out of that. We see how they're interacting with the monsters. We see the monsters and how they react to the sound. We see them figure out how to stop them. But it's just really a small movie. And I think, like what Jacob said, the score. What about the score made it so amazing for you?
It just really brings life to like any sort of show or movie. You know, without the music and like the sounds that go along with it, you know, it's kind of bland and flat. Like there's not really a lot of emotion. But whenever you add, you know, just like a synth stab or something, it just brings.
So what about this particular movie that you remember about the score?
I really liked there was a out of tune piano, and it just added to that suspense, and I really liked it in that part.
Yeah, it played a really pretty like melody. It wasn't a minor melody, it wasn't a dark melody. It was really pretty, but because it was out of tune, it was like the beauty that we're trying to live into this life, but it's broken. You know, it's like it's off. It's not. We're trying to live a normal life, but it's just off center.
What's an off-tune piano?
So the strings of the piano have to be tuned to the right thing, kind of like your French horn. You have to do some movement in the bell to make it in tune. So it's the same thing with the guitar. So the guitar has 6 strings, piano has 88. Actually more than 88, because some of the piano notes have more than one string. So an out of tune piano is like if you were playing the same note as Jacob, but you could totally notice that you were out of tune. A piano is 88 notes, 88 keys, so if you played it and they weren't all in tune with each other, it's going to sound a little off. Cool. Any other big thoughts about the first movie that you want to mention, Connor?
Not really. The kid kind of knew already how to drive a car.
Oh, yeah.
That was cool.
Yeah, he was kind of learning. What do you call them? One more thing that you remember about the movie. Think about it. Zeke, what about you? What's one of the things you want to say about the movie?
I would definitely say that the miscommunication with the daughter and the father is whack, and you should always communicate because it gets a lot of stuff out, and it's just easy to lay it down on people.
For sure, and that's one of the reasons why we have family talks and we have little one-on-one talks. We're going through stuff. We got to make sure we're all good in the whole process, you know. Cool. All right, Colton. What's another thing about the first movie?
Oh no. The suspense was scary because I didn't know what was going to happen next.
Cool. Yeah, and that is a good point because I think the suspense, like what Connor said, like you didn't like the suspense, right?
No, I didn't like the suspense at all.
Why not?
It was too much, and I don't like being stressed after school.
Yeah. So yeah, suspense is added to this movie. A lot of it is really just because they can't speak. They can't talk. And so most of the movie is quiet, and they don't really have, sometimes the score pops in, but a lot of times it's just silent. And then you're just seeing them sign, and they do subtitles for their signing and all that stuff. And it's definitely one of those movies that builds and builds and builds and builds. And you do. I'm with you, Connor. It's super stressful. You actually had to walk out of the room because it was too much.
Towards the end, when it was the most stressful.
Yeah. Cool. Zeke, what about you?
Two super important things. The father sacrificed himself for the deaf girl, and the baby made it out alive.
Yes, that was good. It was scary because the monster was coming for the house. Oh, that's right. The monster was coming for the house. She's about to have the baby, and then the dad slams the horn on the truck, and that causes all the monsters in the area to. No, it was the fireworks, right?
Yeah,
Fireworks. Sorry, that was.
That was the second one.
They did the fireworks to draw the monsters out, and then she was able to scream to have to like do the final push to get the baby out. So that was crazy.
So the most thing I get scared of is people being like in water and then they can't get out. And they were like in the water part.
Yeah, there toward the end, the water started pouring into the basement, and they were like, then the monster kind of got under the water.
I don't like that. I don't like it because it makes me think I'm drowning.
Yeah.
And then that's why I had to leave because I thought I was drowning.
Cool. All right, so let's jump into the second movie. Second movie picks up right after the first movie is over. They have just defeated the final monster, and that's your point, Colton, about what you didn't like about the movie.
Yeah, it is.
Why not?
Because like they skipped all the fighting. They did like one fight scene at the very start, and then all the monsters were dead.
So it actually didn't start with the basement scene. Now that I'm remembering, it flashed back to day one when they were at a baseball game, and they met one of their community guys, Kelly Murphy, who we meet up with later. The reason that they didn't show the big monsters in the basement was because they already showed how they defeat those monsters. Even if it was just showing one or two, they're like, okay, so you get the gist. That's how they did it. So they wanted to start the second movie kind of going back a little bit, showing day one when the monsters first showed up in that community with that family. And then the movie we're going to go see in a couple weeks, or we're going to see this weekend, is day one for New York and all the people there. So yeah, so it starts there. So that's the big action sequence. That's the, hey, this is day one, and then the monsters show up and they're like trying to get away. That's the big action sequence. Then it cuts to, they just finished the fighting of the monsters in the basement. So then it picks up, they're like leaving, they got to leave their farm, and they're basically trying to find other people because they can't survive just the mom, the baby, the deaf daughter, and the son, right? And the son is pretty scared throughout the whole second movie too. The first movie, he was super scared, and I think part of the reason is that he's only known living in this world that's completely silent. Like he was such a young kid when the monsters first attacked. The deaf daughter, that I can't remember her name, but she's a little bit older, and she's brave. She's super brave, and she wants to prove to her dad the whole first movie that she's brave. The second movie, she just doesn't even ask for permission. She just does it. So, can you give us a synopsis of the second movie?
So after those parts, they find the guy that was their dad's friend, and then they go into his bunker after the kid getting clumped with a bear claw or a bear trap, and then they have like this air tube. It was like a furnace thing, but it's really hot in there, and they only have a certain amount of air. And then the daughter wants to go find other like radio because she thought she found something on the radio. Then she goes into this train thing, and then a monster comes. She's all scared and she's about to die, but then the guy shoots the monster. So then they find this sheriff's house, and then they go to sleep. And then she thought the guy left her and took all her stuff, but he was just around the corner finding a boat.
And then they end up trying to get to a dock. They dock, they get a boat. They find out, what do they find out once they get on the boat and they start?
There's other people.
There's other people
trying to kidnap them.
Yes, absolutely.
And then they get onto the island where the monsters can't get. There's a whole bunch of people talking, happy, and then he sees a boat, which can only mean one thing: a monster. But on the other hand, there's the baby, like the baby, and the young kid in the furnace, and he's running out of air because he locked himself in. And then mom's out trying to get like more air.
Wow.
So he's trying to like fight for survival, but then the mom comes back with the air, unlocks it, and there's more air for the baby because they have to lock. They don't want to lock him in the crate, but they have to put him in a crate with air so he doesn't like scream out aloud. But on the island, they're kind of cooked because there's a monster like killing everybody, and then the guy from you could see in the day one trailer is there. And he has a child, but they had to hide the children. And he's trying to fight the monster, but the dad's friend was like, no, we gotta run. and then they're running to a shack thing. I don't know. It was a TV broadcasting place.
Radio broadcasting, yeah.
And then the guy gets pulled under like Slenderman. He was cooked, and then the girl puts her like ear thing up on the broadcast thing, and it's all over the town. So all the monsters are dead. They're all dead.
Nice.
And that's pretty much the end.
Head explosion.
Yeah, that was a really good synopsis. Lots of stuff happening. So the big thing I want to talk about is this is something that happens in a lot of these post-apocalyptic movies. So post-apocalyptic movies are a genre of movies that are talking about something that happens after a huge event.
Fallout.
So yeah, Fallout, absolutely. So
Exactly.
an apocalyptic event in modern society is something huge, whether it's a meteor hit or it's a zombie apocalypse or it's a zombie outbreak or it's some sort of virus or it's an alien attack or it's a nuke. Let's just keep focused on the same thing. Just keep saying. So that would be a post-apocalyptic movie. Or video game. One of the most famous shows that are happening, I guess it's not famous, not as big anymore, but Walking Dead. Anybody know what The Walking Dead is?
Yeah. Basically, a huge zombie place explosion happened, and
That's good. Zombie. You don't know the story, but yes, it's about zombies.
Explosion.
And they're The Walking Dead. So that's another post-apocalyptic, and what's really interesting in post-apocalyptic shows, TV stories, movies, all that stuff, isn't what the outbreak is. It's not, the interesting part isn't the monsters. It's not the zombies. The interesting part is not the aliens. It's not the violence. The interesting part about the film is how the humans interact. Because when you live in a world of scarcity, when you live in a world where it feels like there's not enough to go around, what's the tendency to do as a human?
To like save things for yourself and be really selfish and greedy.
Yeah, it's when you're living in a world where there's not a lot to go around, you hold on to everything, you try to hold on to everything for yourself and for your family. And you shun everybody else because you have to provide. That's a theme that you find in these films. But that's also something that we can learn from because we don't live in scarcity. We live in a really good experience, a good point, a good neighborhood, all that stuff. So we don't need to hoard. We need to make sure that we're sharing, we're giving to others, all that stuff. So that's one thing we can take away. All right, so what is the main, when they first come in contact, what does the dude say to the family?
Go somewhere else. He doesn't want another family on his hand.
Yeah, because he can't trust anybody. So that's the other piece, is because everybody's like only looking out for their own, it's like you can't trust anybody. So that's a really, really tough situation. So that's what's interesting about these kind of post-apocalyptic stories. In this one, what was the big thing that you liked about the second movie, Connor?
I really like the sniper guy. He was so cool. Just like me, I only use snipers, nothing else.
Yes. Colton, what about you? What's something that you liked about the second movie?
I liked how there's 3 stories happening at once. That was cool.
Yeah, and I like there's a couple of times where they were showing both parties, like the daughter and the guy, and the mom and the son. They were both experiencing something incredibly tense, and it just kind of showed it back and forth. So you were getting.
And there was one time where it was like a split screen.
That was really cool. Jacob, what about you? What's something that you liked about the movie?
I liked how there was multiple stories going on at once, and again, the score was good. It's really crazy to think that anyone can like tell a story without dialogue. Just how they did it so well, and how well like it performed in the theaters. It's pretty cool.
And I didn't mention this before, but I want to mention it now. So when I saw The Quiet Place in the theater, I went to a movie theater called Alamo Drafthouse, and we talked about it on the show. We want them to be sponsors. We'd love it. But they actually serve food during the movie, and so you get to eat and drink and enjoy the movie all at once. But for The Quiet Place, because the majority of the film was silent, they actually didn't sell any food that had a loud crunch to it. I think they had popcorn, but you couldn't get chips and dip. Like you could get chips and salsa or chips and queso, and you couldn't get certain other things on the menu like salad because salad crunches. So it was just really interesting that they did that. I did give a shout out to Alamo Drafthouse though, because this has been a crazy week. They actually filed for bankruptcy on Monday, and on Wednesday, Sony bought them. So Sony Pictures bought Alamo Drafthouse, the whole company, so they're going to open up the theaters again, and they're still going to be around. So I was so scared. Scared about that. I want to see Quiet Place Day One at Alamo Drafthouse, so we'll have to see. It might not be.
We're gonna see it, Alamo Drafthouse.
I'd like to, if we can. That'd be awesome.
That's cool. I did not know they were big.
Yeah, it's crazy. Just 2020, it made it a lot harder for people to come back to the movies, but Sony believes in the environment they're trying to set up. This is a movie experience, not just a movie theater, and they really value silence in the films and all that stuff. Like, they really respect films. It's not just a multiplex. It's just like, let's just have all the screens and sell all the tickets, and then you end up in a theater with people not respecting the movie and talking and laughing. And we were in a movie one time, and unfortunately at AMC, and people were FaceTiming in the middle of the movie. I was just like, what is going on? Like, I went out and talked to the manager.
That would be so cool because, like, Sony, they could have, like, really good projectors and really good speakers and all so, like, better, high quality.
Yeah, for sure.
If there was a funny moment in Alamo Drafthouse, is everybody allowed to laugh?
Yes, you can laugh. If everybody's engaged, it's yes, but you shouldn't be talking and laughing to yourself. Kind of like what we do at the house. I'm going to start playing the Alamo Drafthouse theme before we watch a movie. You have now entered a quiet zone.
Oh, wait.
No, it's in a quiet
Wait.
place.
If you do that, you have to do the cartoons before.
Yeah, we'll do it. Cool. So yeah, big points of the second film is the guy that didn't trust them, that didn't want to help them, ends up helping out the daughter. And they go and they find this place where they can be safe because the monsters can't swim in the water. And then they end up figuring out, if I broadcast this screeching from my hearing aid, then now the entire world has an option of protecting themselves because they just turn on the radio and then blast it at the alien. So that's basically, I don't know that they could do a third one because it would be like, we figured it all out. We already figured out how to stop them. So like, what do we do now? So that's interesting.
I found a way we could do a third one. Add mutant, because they're only one type. Like, if you get like a radioactive chemical and a quiet voice zombie monster, put them together and you make Godzilla.
No.
What?
Maybe.
I thought of one. They try, since radio signals don't go that far, they try to get them all around the world. Like, and it's their mission, and they have to like fight other ones and
Get 50,000 extra.
try to get across the world and get all the radio towers.
Now there is something for that too. Like they talked about maybe doing Quiet Place in other parts of the world, which I think they were trying to do with this one. Day one, it's going to be in New York City, which I've seen some trailers or some little snippets on Instagram, and it's like the decibel reading of New York by itself, like just the sound of New York is like 80 decibels. And they're like, shut up. Like, for this movie. It's like, how do you take that level of volume and make it silent? And that's what we're going to see in the film. So I did want to bring up one other thing that you brought up. The guy from the trailers for Day One is in Quiet Place 2. It was really fun to see him. I had forgotten that he was in it. Jamin Hansu plays the dad that helps the family, kind of talks the family through. And he tells a story about Day One, how they found the island. And they had like 12 boats there to help people get across. But then what happened?
Only 2 of them made it actually onto the island.
And so this is another situation where it's highlighting that idea of scarcity. That you're so fighting for yourself, you're so fighting for your own safety, your own family, your own thing, that you hurt the world around you. And if they had just gotten on the boats, 12 boats could have gotten off the shore and gone to the island and been saved. But because they were fighting for themselves and fighting and clawing and all that stuff, the ships got destroyed by the monsters because they started making too much noise. So we're going to see a little bit of that in the next film. So I was really glad to see that because I was like, oh, that's the connective tissue. Because it is fun to go see some movie or some story within this world that doesn't connect to everything else, but having that little connective piece to kind of know what we're talking about. Cool. Last things about Quiet Place 2. Connor, what's one thing that you liked about Quiet Place 2? Say
that they finally resolved it, and yeah, those. I was gonna say the people at the boat, like
the doc.
With the little girl, they're like raiders.
Yeah.
Evil.
For real.
I had a joke in my head. I didn't laugh for no reason. Connor was like, Raiders, they're evil, and I was thinking about Chapter 2, Season 3 of Fortnite, the evil Raiders.
No, not those Raiders. It's the Raiders too.
Nice. I was thinking about the Raiders, the football team. Las Vegas.
Woo!
We're not in Las Vegas.
Okay, so what's one more thing about the Quiet Place 2? Last thoughts on Quiet Place 2, Jacob?
I thought, yeah, it was a really good movie.
I also wanted to say a lot of stuff in this movie feels like it's from Fallout. That's where I wanted to sit.
No, and I can understand that because again, it's that feeling of
There's
like
no one there, it's abandoned, and then there's evil people that want their stuff, so they attack you.
yeah, exactly.
Just wait till you see the show called Fallout.
What? Really?
Yeah.
Fortnite.
Cool.
Wait till you see Fortnite.
All right. So thanks everybody for listening, and until next time, we'll catch you later.
Yeah, Mr. Crab.
Thanks so much, everybody, for checking out this episode. Again, thanks for listening. Thanks for putting up with the situation we had with the audio. Man, I just couldn't pass up posting this because I just felt like the conversation was so fun. So I'm glad you stuck around. Wanted to give you a heads up about some of the things that are coming up on the podcast. Next week, we got the boys back for a Despicable Me conversation. We're going to talk through all things Despicable Me, including Minions Rise of Gru, Despicable Me 1, 2, and 3. And we're going to have a lot of fun. That one's going to be silly. But we're also going to talk about the morals of it, right? Like, what did Gru learn? What is our fascination with these villains? And how do we want them to turn around to be good? So hope you'll join us for that. The week following that, we got a special guest that's going to jump in here. He is a boxing instructor here in the Dallas area. So we're going to talk about a couple of boxing movies. It's just kind of a one-off episode. So we'll hope you'll join us for that. The week following that, we've got Twister. Twisters is coming out, the sequel to the 1996 film. So we watched the 1996 film with the kids. Kristen and I talked to them about it, and we all kind of have a good family, good fun conversation. And the week following that, with Deadpool 3 coming out, we're going to talk about Deadpool and Wolverine and all the things. That's just going to be Kristen and I, as those movies are a little bit above our boys' age level. So we hope that you'll join us. Hope you're excited about these. And again, follow us on Instagram if you want to know what's coming up. If you want to see what we're watching, if you want to see what we're up to, you can check us out on Letterboxd. You can see our diary and everything there. All right, guys. Until next time, keep watching movies.